You know, distance
got-
until I'm ready.
You got something, bro. You got something.
Oh shit. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name is Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Insidious: The Last Door. Insidious, one of those special series where Bloody Good Horror, established circa 2007, we have reviewed every Insidious movie since the inception of Insidious. So just
in real time. That's the key.
Continuing on the legacy here. Right, that's right. We've been around for all of the releases.
It's the red door, not the last door.
Is that what I said? Whatever.
Yeah.
We can all hope it's the last door.
Was the last one the last key or something?
Yes.
Whatever.
Oh, wow. There you go.
It was the last key for the red door.
Friday the 13th.
What do you think that key was too?
Et cetera, et cetera. Joining me tonight, first up from the bucolic Pacific Northwest, please welcome Ariel to the show.
Hello.
I just like that word. I like to use it. Next up from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up from Manhattan, New York City. You might say he's our Patrick Wilson. Please welcome John Schnorrs to the show. At least he's mine.
You could say that all you
Yeah.
want. That's for sure.
There's only one question I want to get to the heart of tonight, John, and that is, what do you think Patrick Wilson smells like? I'm guessing
good.
I'm
right?
guessing,
Like,
but like classic. I'm guessing Old Spice,
yeah. No, I think Old Spice. That's a very
or maybe like a
solid-
sandalwood.
What's the Irish Spring? Do they
Irish
still make that?
Spring, yes.
Do they still make
Yes,
that?
they do.
Yeah.
They sure do.
There you go.
It's quite the handsome fella. We're going to talk about that here
We're
shortly.
a Dove family, just for the record. So,
You're saying like now, all you saying Irish Spring. Like I've been thinking about that lately, and I'm like, I feel like I just need to go to Amazon and order a bunch of it because I usually just get cheap ass like white bar soap. That's terrible.
But like, that's what Dove is. Like the whatever.
Yeah, but I get like I get like Ivory or some like BS. I don't know.
I'd have to look how much we're spending on our bar soap, but I just can't believe it'd be much cheaper. I guess there's always cheaper. So
The kind of soap I use is like prison soap. Like before
does it have a rope? Is there a rope attached or
before the show
that's
is
a
over?
sign?
Before the show is over, I assure you I will order some Irish Spring and I will let you know when it happens.
We'll know when you're zoned out. It's because you're shopping for soap
right.
on Amazon. So yeah, it's fair enough.
All right, let's get into it here. Let's take a quick break and talk some Insidious: The Red Door.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the front time. Main feature.
It's actually the second time I got something wrong about this movie today. I called it Insidious 4 on social media.
Oops.
John, being the stickler that he is, had to correct me.
Well, to be completely honest, I forgot about chapter 3. So I remembered Insidious
about-
and then chapter 2,
Is
and then
4
I remembered
okay.
the last key.
4 is the one where there is like a modern story, but it's a lot of like an origin story for Lynn Shay, right?
I think that's 3.
Yeah, I think that's 3.
No, which is the one where we see her dad like ran an asylum or something, like that was the last key one.
And it has
that
like
was the last key.
it has flashbacks. 4 does to like the earlier movies, to 2 and 1, I think.
It's like
Man,
half the
there's
goddamn movies
actually
are
like
flashbacks at a certain
shockingly,
level.
there's a shockingly complicated like lit timeline
Yeah.
slash mythos to these movies. Well, John, I'm confident you're going to help me navigate this tonight. But before we do that,
Okay.
please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, we're going a little fancy today. We're going with the word claret. That's C-L-A-R-E-T, claret. a red wine from Bordeaux, or wine of a similar character made elsewhere. But its alternate meaning is the one that I was most interested in. It can just mean a deep purplish red color.
Like
Claret.
blood.
Yes. Comes from the Latin clarus, which, has has the same root of the word clarified. So
I just have this feeling that I first learned that word reading Game of Thrones and had to Google it. It's a word that's used to describe the hue of blood very often.
yes, sure.
I know words too, John.
You know all of the words from the Game of Thrones book
I went to
series.
a prestigious private college, John, in Albany, New York.
Yeah,
So
the
no big
capital
deal.
region
That's right.
for sure.
Capital business happening. John, why don't you tell me about Insidious, the Red Door?
Yes.
Insidious 5, apparently. I didn't know.
Insidious 5. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. This is I think a fairly updated number. Box office across 5 Insidious films, $614 million.
Oh wow, well that's why they keep making more of them.
That answers
Oh,
the question. Yeah, I mean,
no,
not that
no,
there was a
they're-
question, but
We'll get into it. My theater, I went on Monday night and it was like half full. I was
wow.
like kind of surprised.
I had
haven't- Oh, go
I wasn't
ahead.
I wasn't quite half full on Tuesday night, but it was three, like a quarter full at least. There was for a Tuesday night. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went Monday morning and there was nobody there. I had the whole thing to myself.
So Monday morning, that's the time.
Yep.
I'm still one of these days. I want to get the theater myself situation. Okay, so Insidious 1, 2011. We get Insidious 2, 2013, 2015, 2018 is the most recent one before this. And so then there's a 5-year gap. This is the biggest gap between any of these movies. I assume a large part of that has to do with the sort of like COVID delays and yada, yada. This is a series very much that comes from the lineage of James Wan and Lee Wanell, who, have been working together for forever. They did Saw together. They've done lots of other stuff. And so James Wan does the first 2 movies. Lee Wanell writes the first 4. He is listed as the writer of the screenplay by. Lee Wanell directs the 3rd. They bring in this guy, Adam Robitel, who I haven't looked at for that. That was the 4th one. This film, in my mind, the most interesting thing, it is the directorial debut of Patrick Wilson.
Crazy.
Yeah. Who
smells like Irish Spring.
And like we've discussed it in previous episodes. We've joked about it offline. This idea of him as a scream king. When you put his work together, like he's not in all the Insidious movies because he may be in like flashbacks for Insidious 4, but he's certainly in the first 2. I don't know.
From what I remember, the last one was like all Lin Shaye, and then she also her little
and Lee
sidekick.
Wanell and yeah.
Yeah, I remember Lee Wanell was like weirdly hitting on like a
Accents.
college student.
Yeah,
Do you remember
that was we spent a lot of time talking about the inappropriate relationship between Lee Wanell
in a
and-
movie,
yeah.
by the way, that he co-wrote. Just
Yeah.
Would like to point that out.
No, it was story by and screenplay by for
Right.
that one. Just to be clear, this one was written by a guy named Scott Teems, who wrote Halloween Kills and Firestarter most recently, which like,
Firestarter.
those are movies that got made. So good on him. But Patrick Wilson. So okay, just to be clear, he is Ed. What the hell's his last name? Ed.
Warren.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ed Warren. Exactly. He's been in a bunch of these Insidious. Like he's like a horror dude, and I don't know. I was like really taken aback. I did not realize he was directing this movie until like the day before I went to see it. And then I was like, wait, what? So that was a lot of the lens through which I was viewing it. The plot here, it's interesting. Insidious. So this is the Red Door. This follows Patrick Wilson and the son Dalton, and I should get the characters' names. That would be helpful if I had their names in front of me. What's the dad's name? Hold on, I'm getting Josh. Josh, yeah.
Is that his name? Never would have.
The Lamberts is the family.
Gosh.
But so you have Josh and Dalton. Dalton was the son who in the first one goes into the coma and like connects to the demons. And they had their whole thing there, and that's like a big part of Insidious 2. This is now set in effectively present day, right? Like the movie takes place 9 years after the coma incident. And Josh is now divorced from Renee, who is Rose Byrne. Again, they had 3 kids, but Dalton is the oldest. Dalton is going to college. And so the movie starts with the grandmother dying. I like honestly could not remember the grandmother that much, but apparently she was like a pretty big part of it.
Yeah, especially in the first
film,
one.
in the first film, like she's the one that is holding the secret from everyone that he was followed by this demon as a kid. And then when she sees the everything going on with their kid, that's the big like plot reveal in
Gotcha.
the first one is this happened. Here's they bring back the photos.
They show you the photos. And when I saw those photos, I was like, oh yes, the photo, like, okay. So in any event, the film opens with her dying. Then Josh decides he's going to drive Dalton to school.
She's already dead. We don't.
She's
see her
dead.
die.
It's her funeral. Excuse me. Sorry.
Post dying.
Put the post down. Yeah, we don't get a good death scene to open the movie. But Josh drives Dalton to school. They're struggling. Like Josh is like struggling as a single dad or a divorced dad who has these 3 kids that he has a fractured relationship with. Again, like I had forgotten the him being possessed and like attacking the family situation, and so it
When
makes
did that
sense.
happen though? Was that in one of the other movies? What I remember from the first Insidious is that was like the twist at the end was that the demon was like still in him and he attacks Lin Shaye. But that's the only thing I remember. Like, was that from a sequel? Was this
I think it was from
new
the
stuff?
second
It was the
one.
second one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that one I don't really have much memory of.
Totally. Well, like I said earlier, I forgot the third one existed altogether. So
I did remember
you'd be
Carl.
forgiven.
I remembered Carl from Insidious 2,
You
and I got
texted
really
Casey and us
excited
about Carl
because
I
he
was
he pops in the first like scene in the funeral, and I texted you guys all caps, "Carl's back, motherfuckers!" And then that's literally the last time you
He
see
has
him.
nothing to do with this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, all right. So look, like we're like we can try to unpack as much of the mythos as we can. The setup here is Dalton is at college, Josh is languishing, Josh is exploring why he may be languishing. Like he keeps describing himself as having a mental fog. So he's like getting an MRI. He's like seeing a therapist. Like yada yada. Dalton is at school he's in like a painting program at a university, and that is causing him to sort of like connect back to this experience they had when he was a kid, which was suppressed because they were hypnotized to forget about it. And so we sort of then have them both reconnecting to the further independently, and it becomes like a bridge to them maybe building their relationship back together. I don't know. So I don't know. I think that's all we need. Casey, what else did I miss?
Would you say they're getting further into the further?
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally a line like that in the movie where like somebody says the word "further" and he's like, "Oh, what?" And it like lodges a memory for the kid. Which is funny.
Yeah.
Ariel, what'd you think?
I always hate to come on your show just to like badmouth a movie, but I didn't care for this one too much.
That's what we're here for.
okay.
Carol.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's start. Hold on. Where do you
Yeah.
land with the Insidious series? Like, is
Okay.
it like iconic for you? Do you care about it?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely adore the first movie. I've seen it a ton of times. I think it's genuinely creepy and it remains really creepy. So I really like that one. I don't like the second one very much. But then 3 and 4, I have a soft spot for. I know that The Last Key is like legitimately a bad movie, but I love
It
Lin
might have been
Shaye.
trying to be bad. So.
No, I love Lin Shaye and her character and the like band of weirdos that she hangs out with so much that like anytime I got to spend time with them on screen, I was happy. But like I wouldn't claim that they were good movies. So I don't know. I guess I had like hopes that maybe this would be a good end to the franchise, but I think it was kind of mediocre. I don't know. I just thought that except for like a couple of really great scenes, like the MRI scene that Eric was mentioning, that one's really good. But other than that, I think that the dialogue was wooden and the script wasn't very well written. There's a lot of cheesiness to it. I think that the way that like the way that they did the further this time affected me way less than it has in any other movie, and I think that the ending is super cheesy. I did like the friend though.
There was something always really creepy in the past ones about the way they would walk in on like vignettes with like frozen people, and they don't do that at all here.
No, it's way less creepy in this movie.
Yeah. Casey.
So first of all, I've made a couple lame jokes about this last couple episodes, but this movie, the filmmakers literally saw a red door and they wanted to paint it black. It's that basic. Rolling Stones. I didn't like this movie at the end. I liked about the first half of this movie. I kind of liked the build up. I enjoyed Dalton and his story and the stuff going on between Dalton and his dad and them trying to patch it up. I was into that, but once Dalton got to school and the frat party was okay, but after that, it just kind of starts to unravel. And to me, it feels like at that point of the movie on, they're trying to rush to get to an end, and it's happening more and more. Things are getting thinner and less developed. To by the end, we start to see the plot holes appear. When we start to get the story of how the family's memory is suppressed and stuff, the big scene with Rose Byrne, that's when it really started to unravel for me. And at that point, it felt like they weren't putting a whole lot of effort to give us a good Insidious ending involving the further. And beyond that, further than that, you could say, they did nothing in this.
I wouldn't say that, actually.
five movies into this, they did nothing new with the further. To us, really, to help spice it up, draw our attention, give us a little bit more mythos or information about it. They did nothing. In fact, they took away from it, like Eric mentioned with the frozen people and stuff like that. They took away from all that stuff, and it was just set dressing, and it wasn't anything exciting anymore. We've seen it 5 times.
I can't believe neither of you referenced Nick the Dick.
Who, yeah.
He was awful.
He was awful.
Yeah.
But he's also pretty forgettable for the most part.
Eric, that was the frat guy.
Yeah, I mean, that whole plot line with the frat just becomes pretty inconsequential once you get to the end. Yeah. Like, there's no reason we were there ever, really.
But honestly,
well, except they needed to get out of that goddamn dorm room. That's why.
I mean, I guess that's true.
It was literally like we needed something else to do. Yeah.
Sure. John, what do you think?
But Nick the Dick sucked. But like the puking ghost in his bathroom, that's pretty cool.
Sure.
No, this movie, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I would say if I had to like move my slider, the script is just really, really bad. I really want to talk about Patrick Wilson as a director. It's like over directed. I think he's like trying too hard, certainly from a cinematography or like sort of like some of the ways that the things he wanted to do, framing wise, like was like overly aggressive. The scene or the shot where they're at the funeral, it's like one of the first shots, and it's like it starts upside down for just no good reason.
Is it? I have a question. Like, does that deeply disorient anyone else, especially in a theater? Like, it does not matter the movie. It wasn't just I've seen that in other movies. I literally feel like I'm gonna throw up when a camera's like fully turned upside down like that.
I'm okay if it's like it,
especially with like when there's a horizon and trees and it's like I can know where I should be.
Yeah.
If it's like a transitional shot in the middle of a movie, I'm okay. But like when you kick off the movie like that from the start, it throws me off.
It's so weird. I almost have to close my eyes. Like I can't deal.
I mean, whatever. I get why you do it.
There's some alright tricks in there, but I do agree that he's
No, and look, there were great moments. Like there were some fun moments. I was joking. I can't remember if it was over text or when we were emailed. But there's some like jump scares in this movie that are just outrageous. I mean,
Yeah.
you could say that good or bad. Like if you're in for a jump scare, and I haven't been, put it this way, they got me a couple times
Me too.
in a way that I had not been gotten in a little
Yeah.
while, and I was like, Jesus Christ, these assholes.
yeah, we can talk about
But
it.
no, the script is really, really bad. And I don't know, like it's interesting. Like it's all the same actor. Ty Simpkins, who plays Dalton, played the original Dalton.
Yeah, but
I
he
was
did
wondering.
better when he was a kid. I'm sorry, he did.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like he's not good as an actor in this. Now, some of that is I don't know that he had a ton to work with.
Yeah, his dialogue was crap, and that's the problem. Is that none of them had a lot to work with, but it just meant that their relationships and like the emotional connections that they had with each other, I didn't buy in the same way that I have in other movies.
Totally.
And they were
So-
they were pretty textbook. I'm mad at you, Dad, and
No,
Dad's like, I want you
I'm-
to not be mad at me.
I have like maybe a little bit of a different take on this movie. I will say overall, are you done, John? I don't mean to.
No, well, the thing. Okay, so I just wanted to comment really quick because you sort of, I think Eric, you mentioned like they injected the frat stuff just to like get them out of the house. There are like 4 characters, or really like 3 characters in this whole movie. It's kind of insane to me.
It's pretty small.
How small of a film it is, given what they in theory had to work with.
It apparently did
Insidious
really
as a-
well. So
Well, it
like,
did. I mean, so it was a $16 million budget, which is not nothing in a hard.
that's what you should be
universe.
shooting an Insidious 5 for. I think.
Yeah.
Totally. It made like it's the current box office is at 71 million. Like it did great. Like we're gonna get more Insidious movies, and like I'm happy for Patrick Wilson, Scream King, all about it. But it's not good, and it's weirdly small. It's like it's just like bad in a lot of ways. The thing I would say, and we can talk. I'm curious how all y'all's theatrical experiences were. Although it sounds like maybe we all saw it at weird times. I was there on a Monday night. There were a lot of teens in the theater with me. The scene, the MRI scene, people were like, "Oh no, kid!" Like there was a lot.
I
of,
actually like that scene. I thought that was one of the
Me
more
too.
effective.
It was a very good
It's
scene.
like the best scene in the movie.
Well, there was a lot of like
Yeah.
verbalization going on in the theater. After that, there was basically none. Like
You know my favorite thing
the
about that
whole
scene
thing
is
got flat after that.
Patrick Wilson. Okay, effective jump scare is in the MRI. It's whatever. He gets jump scared by Insidious ghosts. Whatever. What's funny about it is that he gets out of that MRI machine losing his goddamn mind, and the doctor does not care.
I
The doctor's
know.
like, "Yeah, just go down the hall that way, and then you're good."
Even
Put
though
your
he's
pants
there
on.
for something wrong with his brain, and the fact that he freaked out doesn't like raise any flags for the doctor.
I largely agree with you guys, although I think I maybe liked some more things about it than you guys did. But like largely it's not much. Like it's not mind blowing, it's not super memorable. It is fun. I mean, here's what I like about it. I love Patrick Wilson. I think he has a lot of on-screen charisma. We do get a criminally underused Rose Byrne in this film, but like let's be real, she's bigger than this movie. I'm sure this was like, how much money can we pay you to come in for like 2 days? That's kind of
no. I legitimately think they had her for a day or 2
Potentially,
to shoot. Like
totally.
it was insane.
She's not involved in any of the action. So I like him, and like I like the idea of the script. I like the idea of bringing the original kids back, but like grown up sort of in a way. That's not a thing you see every day in a series like this. I kind of enjoy that continuity. And weirdly, like I don't think he's amazing, but I liked College Dalton a little bit. Now, because
That's
here's
okay
the thing.
with him.
College
He
Dalton
had a nice
seemed-
haircut. His
he
haircut
seems
was
like
good.
an actor who's like continued to act and wants to be an actor. I get a real vibe from him, like this kid wants to make it. The other brother, if that kid has been in another movie since Insidious, you could blow me over with a feather. This
They
kid
might
looks
not have
like-
had him acting. He was
this
just
kid,
like
he
they gave
looks
him a
like-
phone and they were just like go to town.
He legit looks like he just came from like his after school program, and they were like, "Hey, you want to be in this movie?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know, man, whatever." You got
No, I think this was his after school program.
yeah, like he was just like, "You got a vape," and they're like, "Yeah, here you go. Come on, let's do this." Like he just literally doesn't even seem like he was in a movie. I think I
and
did.
the youngest sister doesn't show up after
Right.
like
That's true,
the
she's
first.
not
That's
even
a
in the
good
movie,
point.
is she,
That's a
really?
She's not even in it.
I'm glad. It's interesting. I'm glad you're here tonight, Ariel, because I think the last thing you were here on was Husera, the Bone Woman, which
No, I wrote in for that one, but I think that was Elizabeth who was on the show. I think the last time I was on was for
why did I think
Renfield,
you
but I
went to
have
that
seen
Renfield.
Husera. I
Well,
loved
so
it,
either Husera is an interesting kind of thing for me. Not the same thing at all in the movies, but like we had a large discussion there about the power of like what relating to a character can do for you when you're watching a movie. Like I didn't care for that movie very much, and while I'm not saying this movie is good, like as a single father, I actually found a lot of the nuance in the stuff particularly between him and Rose Byrne to like be kind of weighty for me. Not that I'm in the same situation per se, but like there's just it's interesting. Like it's not
Are
what
you
I
trying
expected.
to tell us you have brain fog going on?
Well, I have used that word in doctor's offices before. No, but like I think there's an interesting emotional thing going on there, and this idea of like a father who just kind of can't get his shit together and is trying to be there for his kids, but he's like also fighting through generational stuff. Like, it's not the most brilliant emotional stuff you've ever seen, but Wilson brings a lot of charisma to that for me, and like there was a thread there that I connected with, and I think I think honestly like those choices are probably the strongest parts of the movie for me. Unfortunately, I think where it falls apart is in being much like, in my opinion, The Bone Woman, is in being a horror movie where like the horror in this movie sucks. Like if you go back to the original Insidious, the reason why James Wan succeeded so much in that original film and then The Conjuring is he brought back this like 70s paranormal aesthetic that's a lot about in-camera tricks. It's a lot about slow zooms and framing. It was like he watched all like stuff like The Changeling, and he learned every perfect lesson you can learn from those movies. It wasn't about CG. It wasn't about, I mean, certainly there's jump scares, but it was like there was a subtlety and a nuance to what he was doing with that scares that made that stuff feel different. It's what kicked off this whole supernatural thing we've been on now for 15 years. Unfortunately, like now it's just getting watered down, and that's getting fed back into Insidious. Like Patrick Wilson is not James Wan. I mean, and neither, I don't know who directed the sequels. Was it James Wan?
James Wan did the first two.
Yeah.
Shocked by that, but it makes sense. So part of the problem is like, yes, it's refreshing that, okay, we're at college now. That's at least different from a family's home. How many GD ghost movies have we seen with a family's home, right? I'm always joking about pictures flipping over and candles blowing out and shit, right?
As far as we know, though, there's 3 people that go to this college.
But here's the problem.
And the roommate, Chris.
You're now in a 10 by 10 box. There's legit like 7 or 8 completely different scare sequences in a 10 by 10 room, and you just feel them. You could feel them in like that writer's room brainstorming like, how many different scares can we get out of this dorm room? It's why you have to go to the frat house at some point, like just to mix it up. And there's a little bit of action going on at, Patrick Wilson's house. I did like that scene where the person was outside. I guess it's his mom supposed to be, maybe. I don't remember. But he's got the cue cards up on the
dad.
Yeah, that was
his dad. He's got the cue cards up on the glass. I kind of like that.
Spoiler alert, it's his dad.
But the other problem is that there's a
trailer too.
There's a real, in my opinion, war crime happening with the volume of the jump scares in this movie.
Yes.
Like, okay, BGH
like the actual volume, not the frequency.
legit my ears are extremely. They're the whole thing about my job now. Like I'm literally doing audio quality assurance. After the first jump scare, I plugged my ears for every single jump scare after that because it was so aggressive. And the thing is, like any movie, it's all telegraphed. Like the second the air sucked out of the sound mix, I just did this. I did this until the loud thing came, and like every time it was no longer than 2 minutes before
and
there
then
was
you yelled out loud like, "Why are you coming from my money makers?"
Because to your point, like the first one got me, but I don't think it was even scary. I think just the noise startled my whole body.
Me was like the hand on the easel. I think that was one of the earliest.
Yes, that was
I
it.
think that was the first one.
That one like literally made me jump in my seat. But you may be right. Maybe it's just a volume thing.
Well, then there's the sheet one, the sheet that just does like a weird jump.
Now the sheet one was the point at which I was like, man, They are really just trying to squeeze anything they can out of this dorm room situation. Like nothing has happened.
They had so that whole that flashcard scene with the blurry. You could tell the ghost of Dad was approaching. They actually did that at least one other time in the movie in the beginning when he got in the car at the cemetery, and I think they may have done it one other time. I really dug that. That was kind of cool because that was what I was wondering about throughout the movie. Is like, oh, who is that? Right.
So here, okay, I think I make this point every time we watch one of these like supernatural movies, and like I sound like an asshole, but. You're right. Like I noticed it in the car sequence after the funeral. If it happened another time, I didn't necessarily notice it, but like then I did notice it with the flashcards. What is the ghost's goal? Because if the ghost's goal is to communicate to the Patrick Wilson to Josh, why is it doing the like? Hey, I'm going to slowly creep up behind your car while you're about to drive away. Nothing happens in that scene, by the way. It's just like, you see it far away.
John, you know,
who can really
say what a ghost wants, John?
Ooh,
you know?
Looming tension. Like, I don't, it's, look, there's other movies that handle that better. Like when I say the writing here is like pretty stupid, it's like, that's the shit where it's like, they're just like, I don't know, the ghost is like far and then it gets closer. Like,
I agree with you. Sorry, Eric. I would agree with you, but at the same time, if you look at the Insidious movies, they've told us throughout that it's not easy for the ghosts to reach out from the further to our world. So I just kind of took it as that that was him taking time to get through. That's where my brain went.
I'm sure you're right in the universe of the Insidious films.
It's not apparent.
I do think they have taken a lot of liberties with what the further is and the rules of the further across the series.
There's also, I think, a Darth
100%.
Maul problem in this movie, which is that coming off a prequel, I think they really needed to paint him as a somehow strengthened or new kind of threat. Like you got to mix it up somehow. We're literally back in the same room.
Even still around. I thought
we're literally back in the same room with like this friggin' harpsichord playing tiptoe through the tulips or wherever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't change it up at all.
I literally went to confession, John. I actually got up and went to the bathroom during this movie, which I never do. And I came back to tiptoe through the tulips. I was like, damn, if I had waited like another minute, I could have just missed this part.
No,
even the way they filmed the Darth Maul guy is so much lamer this time, because in the first movie, part of what was so creepy was having him like surprise you up in that corner with the way that the shot was framed, and then the just absolutely shocked, stricken look on the character's face that really made you scared as a viewer. This one, he just like pops up right behind him in the middle of the frame, and it's so boring. It's not scary anymore.
And we've seen
and you're
it
right
for
that they
5
haven't
movies.
set him up at all. Yeah.
Well, I forgot what his deal was. I didn't, and I know he's in. Look, the most iconic shot of any of these movies is that one where he's half peeking out behind Patrick Wilson's face. Like, it's
here's the other thing, and this might have been, maybe there's something in here that I'm just missing, but like, so in the past movies, the idea of the door was that, the door was essentially the gateway between your body and the further where you're astral projecting. And so the idea is that this entity would essentially get between your soul and your body, which is the door sort of, and then keep you in there. And then he goes into your body. Like that's what he's trying to do. Right. But so the end of this movie made no goddamn sense to me. Cause I'm like, wait, who's on which side of the door? Like, what is it? If you're both at the door, who is phone? Like, what is happening right here?
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be so dramatic, but I'm like, I don't know what the stakes are.
No.
You're 100% right, Eric. My assumption was that,
like, was the red door something different? Is that why? Is that different from the doors from the other?
I was thinking the entity was from the realm that's behind the red door, and he'd gotten into the further, but I could be wrong. Because they were trying to seal the further. But
because to me,
in
that scenario,
it's not like one of the regular ghosts.
If he's trying to push through the door, then he's already in his body. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, no, that's true. And they kind of act like Patrick Wilson's character is gonna like give his life up to sit at that door and protect his son. But like,
I was
what
very
happens
ready
to his
for that
body
to be the
then?
ending.
Right.
But why would it be Patrick Wilson's door if his son's having visions of it? Other than being there,
I don't know. So here's one
I'm
thing
sorry,
I did
I'm just nerding out.
Here's one thing I did like. This is so dumb, but and
I
esoteric,
know.
but like what I'm about to say. Like, I weirdly liked the idea of him somehow fixing the situation with paint. And here's why I say
Well,
that.
sure.
It reminded me of a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. Like, that's 100% how they would stop Freddy in like a
true,
Nightmare on
yeah.
Elm Street Part 9 or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, very supernatural, and like you just buy it because you're here and you're watching a movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
But-
him being a painter or artist, because he sketches and whatever. Fine, like cool, and you're right. Like as a way that you wrap it, I almost feel like they started with that. They were like, "Ooh, what if he is a painter and he paints over the door and that seals it up for?" And then they were just like, "I don't know. We got to figure out the rest of the movie, I guess." You know that. Because that to me was the only that's the only through line for Dalton, well, for any of the characters that really makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is at least like emotionally resonant and relevant.
I think I like the idea of the artist part of it. And I don't know if it's because like I love Pickman's model, but the idea that you could be painting actual real horrors, or that what you're painting could become real. I mean, I
Right.
think all of that is really neat. I just don't think they did that much with it here.
They didn't.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
would
he had
like
the
a
lady from
spin-off.
Severance who is a boss. And
I would like
they
a
did
spinoff
nothing
just
her.
with the art teacher because I like
Yeah.
her. I was
Yeah,
into her vibe.
yeah, that was cool. And the idea that the painting kept like kind of evolving throughout the movie is kind of neat too, but it just wasn't enough to make up for everything else that
Yeah,
was
but
lame.
because the whole thing was, it felt like just a device to get rid of their being forced to forget the hypnosis.
Right.
No, it totally was.
That's all
I
it
said
was.
Severance. It was she's the Succession lady. She's
Yeah.
the whatever stepmom.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, totally. Like there's a spinoff for you. And they like make her out to be like she's like some badass, and she like throws the like one kid out of class on the first day, and then it's just like the rest of her scenes are just like normal. Her,
Normal.
like,
I know. It's like,
teaching.
why did we
It's
waste
like,
time with that?
Yeah, it's she's tough.
So here's some of my big problems where I think it falls apart in the end, or at least what bugged me and ruined it for me. Because like they're not even following their own rules for the further. They spent like the first 3 movies telling us about how dangerous it is to travel in the further. We get a one-liner from a Lin Shaye video telling us, it's dangerous and people, they can get to you. But they always focused on if you didn't have the light that would attract beings to you, and you could easily get lost by a misstep and you can't find your way, and that's part of the problem. And then as we get into both Dalton and Josh are in the further trying to save each other, Josh is sitting in a town that's clearly hours away because we had the whole scene of him driving Dalton to school, and he goes to the further and walks straight to him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was
nothing
real
really
dumb.
attacks him.
It was
No,
super
that's
dumb.
the thing. The further wasn't scary. They weren't
No.
even scared at all. And then
There was
that-
one monster that followed Dalton the first trip into the room, and then the one that attacked Chris later in the fraternity room. That's it.
yeah, where the further was so creepy and really creative in that first movie. They did nothing with it
Yeah,
here.
but I mean, like, I guess what I'm saying is like, how could you expect them to after this many movies? Like, that's kind of the point, right?
No, but
Yeah.
I think but Casey's point is like they did establish like a pretty like they've.
Well,
they've
let me say this
established a lot
again.
of
How
mythos
could
that
they
just-
expect to do anything creative with it? I don't expect anything, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
in the first movie, wasn't it super dangerous for Patrick Wilson just to go from their house like outside trying to find Dalton? They were just like going out in the yard or like the next house, right? It was
Yeah.
close by, and it was super dangerous, and it was attacked and fraught with danger. But he hiked 6 hours to Dalton's college with no problem.
On foot
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
further. Yeah.
and walked straight into the fraternity house he'd never seen and found him in the room.
Yeah. I think also just the dialogue during some of that was just not written that well. I mean, the scene where the dad is like sitting in front of the door and his son is being told, like, go. So he's essentially walking away from his dad, knowing that his dad is going to stay there to protect him and will die. Like, that's what we're seeing here. And Dalton has like zero reaction. There's no emotion there at all. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
somebody
right.
who always cries at scenes like that, no matter what. They can even be not that good, but this did nothing for me. Like, that should have been really emotional, and it just wasn't. which means that the ending just felt like not earned.
Well,
you
they're
know?
trying to play
Yeah.
both sides of the coin with this idea that they were all suppressing this memory of him attacking them when they were kids.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but then it's all just hand waved away in 3 seconds. Once
I
Patrick
know.
Wilson gets in the further, he's like, "You don't understand. It wasn't me. It was him." And that's it. And then it's all
Yeah.
diffused. And you're like,
Yep.
all right.
I was impacted emotionally when Josh got a picture on the wall. Like when Dalton made that, I was like,
Me
"Nah,
too.
That's
Oh,
nice."
Again, like there's something there.
I mean,
Dude,
there is.
That scene when Josh and Dalton first got to the college, they had their fight, and then Patrick Wilson's walking back to his truck, fighting back tears. That was hardcore. That got me. I mean, it's like, oh, I felt bad for him.
Yeah. That was they had like a.
I mean, he was a dick, but
Yeah.
They had like kind of a nasty fight. But
yeah.
Yeah,
And then he
but-
just leaves. Like, he doesn't try to fix it after he,
Yeah,
called
but
his
he was
son
wa-
all those names. Like,
But
He was
Ariel,
fast
the
walking
brain
across
fog.
the campus, wiping
oh, I'm
tears
sorry.
away.
I
Don't
apologize. My
forget,
bad.
you forgot about the brain fog.
I did
so,
forget.
Yeah. I don't know, the red
Love
door.
that Patrick Wilson.
And
Yeah.
that was the other thing. So then we get to this big reveal, and this is obviously spoiler territory. We find out about the memory suppression, and they never suppressed the memory of Rose Byrne or the daughter or Barbara Hershey.
Right. That's real weird.
Right.
Like, did you think that was going to go well to have some people remember it and other people
Right?
not?
What did they think
Especially
was
one
going to
of the-
I
happen?
guess now maybe you can make the argument that like somebody needs to know about this in case it happens again.
Mhm.
But that was
Yeah.
not said if that was the
Well,
idea.
and
That
they
would have
were-
been Barbara Hershey, right?
They were suppressing the memory of the people who went into the further. That's
That's-
the people whose memories were getting suppressed. But it,
Right, but it meant that
I
the
agree,
kid
it
could
was-
never mention that, hey, you remember that time you were in a coma for a year? Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all a little silly.
That, and we see Patrick Wilson while he's in the further, and he's getting attacked, and his body starts to give away. And you see him take his last gasp, and his head fall to the side. And you turn to Rose Byrne and his son, and they're both going.
I
No
will say
reaction.
This was an hour 47, which not feeling great about. Was there anything post credits? I'm continuing my strike on watching anything.
Yeah.
From
Oh,
post
I
I
didn't
sat
say.
for a while and there wasn't anything, and then I gave up. so.
Hold on. The important thing in the credits, though, is that Patrick Wilson
Sang.
sings the song.
Yeah.
Isn't he in that? Isn't he the Stay song they played at the end, and that's with the band Ghost?
Patrick Wilson and Ghost, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they're like I don't know what you'd call their music. It used to be very like synth wavy, but I'm not sure that's what they're still making.
They
like,
kind of changed per album. They've been.
it was
they were
like
metal for a
almost
while,
like
too.
yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this song that they're playing right now? And then I was like, that sounds like Patrick Wilson. So
The guy's a Renaissance man, John.
he's
What do you want?
some. He's some. He's a Scream
Yeah.
King. Hail. Hail the Scream King.
Important breaking news, John. I ordered Irish Spring. I cannot wait to smell like an Irish morning.
You'll have to report back
I'm
whether
excited. Yeah,
Oh, I
I'm
will.
you
excited
start
for it.
smelling.
I used
like
to use
Patrick
it when I was a
Wilson or
kid.
not.
Then I
I
stopped.
my parents did not buy it, but I had friends that did. So like, if I was like over their place, it was. So.
Oh, here's dumb for you. I could use Irish Spring, no problem. I like it. The blue Irish Spring gives me hives.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
That sounds awful.
I do remember the blue Irish Spring too. Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
you always got to have a blue smell in your lineup.
They,
Fresh
It's an
water.
interesting life rule I've never heard before.
It's interesting. They are apparently they are developing the next Insidious film. It's called Thread: an Insidious Tale.
Okay, so
So we're
Are they,
getting
Essentially,
away.
it's
are they
new
going to change
characters,
that
right?
after Threads launch? Do you think?
I hope not. But it comes to this guy Jeremy Slater is writing the script, and it is his directorial debut. He's the writer / showrunner on Umbrella Academy and the
Oh.
Exorcist TV show.
okay,
Oh, cool.
those are both solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Because
know.
didn't you say
I've
the
never,
writer for this one also did? What did you say? Like Firestarter and Halloween
Yeah,
Kills or
and
something.
Halloween
Yeah.
Kills.
So,
Those
like, what
were-
do you expect?
the-
Those
the
were not
not
as solid
good
as the
Halloween
as the
film.
new guy.
yeah,
No.
totally.
Guys, I'm really excited. We got a lot of threads. When I just said that out loud, I went to look at it. We got some threads tonight, John.
Casey was checking earlier.
Yeah, I
First
mentioned it.
time in BGH history. I don't think we
Nice.
took any questions last week there, but we will now. All right. Would you recommend this movie, Ariel?
No.
Casey?
Nah.
John?
No.
If Patrick Wilson gives you the vapors,
Yeah. No, that's
it's the most concentrated dose of him you're ever going to get, up to and including the song at the end. So, I don't judge people, John, for what they're into.
No.
That's what I'm
Look,
saying.
if we're giving qualified recommendations, yes, I second yours, but this otherwise,
Yeah.
no.
He's got very chiseled facial features. I like that.
He's a handsome man.
Yeah.
I don't know. He has like cop face.
He does look like a cop.
Ariel, you're not wrong.
All right. I would probably, I guess I would probably say no. Although, like I said, I did maybe enjoy it a little more. But it's the horror part, not great.
Yeah. The best friend was fun though. I enjoyed her character.
Yeah,
to a
she was
certain
great.
extent.
She was working so hard to make. This
I
movie,
know.
Like not
To inject some
Sure.
personality
Yeah.
and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
poor Ty Simpkins.
Ooh, it's Nick the Dick's butthole cream.
yeah, just
We'll take one live YouTube question here, John, before we move on. Better Scream King, Justin Long or Patrick Wilson?
see.
Oh.
Justin Long
Sorry.
isn't a scream. Like has he done
Jeepers
more
Creepers, Barbarian,
than
Tusk. I mean,
All
that's a
right.
pretty good resume right there.
Yeah.
That is a
well,
good
Sure, you
resume.
more.
but
Hold on, Patrick Wilson has done like a lot. Of
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson seems more dedicated to the genre, so I'm going to go
That's
with him.
true. Yeah.
It's fair.
I do like Justin Long though. So
Yeah.
I'm a
I
supporter.
think Justin Long is always good in those movies in a surprising way.
Oh, I
So
do.
maybe I'll go with him.
Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
John,
Mm.
I'm obsessed with Succession. I started
really
watching it when
good.
everyone was getting into it about getting frothy about the finale, and now I'm like in season 2. It's like the best fucking thing I've ever seen.
Wait, so
It's good.
had you
so
not?
good.
I thought you were rewatching it.
I had never watched it. No,
Oh, interesting.
I think
All right.
Kieran Culkin might be my favorite.
He's so fun to watch.
I mean, he's
So good. I also
I
really
like
like
his
the
relationship
actor.
with that
I really
lady.
like the actor who plays Tom. That dude is just
Tom
a
Wobsman.
delight.
He's the best. Look, like everyone
It's-
has their moments in.
No,
the
no,
show.
no.
That's what's great.
I
about
need
it.
you to understand this, John. It is so good. Like
Eric.
people were actually right.
Eric's
already
like
watched it,
having
Eric.
he's having like a reaction that like most people had 4 years ago. Didn't it just
So good.
receive 17
A lot of
Something like
Emmys or
that.
something.
Yeah. Something crazy. I mean, it deserves a lot of awards.
No,
for sure.
it's really really good. I think if I maybe we've talked, but like the one criticism I didn't like originally make this up myself, but
I don't want to hear it.
no, like the seasons have a little bit of like there's a little bit of like repetitionness, like
Yeah, I mean, it kind of restarts at the beginning of each season a little bit.
like
and
I'll be
kind of go through
curious.
some of the same trials. Yeah.
The fact that you're watching them in a more condensed version, like I think it's less of an issue when you're watching them.
Well,
as
that's
they're
how to
coming out
watch
week to
anything,
week.
John. I'm not watching an episode.
No, I
week
know,
like
but
a
so I'll be curious, like as you
schmuck.
get through to season 3 or 4, and you're like, I'm curious if you will be more exaggerated on the they're doing this again, or you're like less, you know, like I don't know.
I find that when you binge things, it's a lot easier to sense hard tone shifts in the writing because it could happen over the course of days if you're watching it every day. You know what I mean?
Well, my point is like I don't think you're going to sense that at all. I think that the writing is very consistent end to end on all.
That's
4
what happened to me
seasons.
with Mad Men. Like I was binging Mad Men and I started the 3rd season, got a couple episodes in, and I was like, did they fire their whole writing staff and like bring on new people? Because this is terrible. And I
Yeah.
never finished it. Anyway, I'm obsessed. It's real
No,
good.
it's really good. Do you remember?
Brian Cox is
do you-
incredible.
Well, dude, I mean, come on. I've been driving the Brian Cox like fan club for
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Brian
he's
Cox's
decade.
Monkey Jail.
You
Yeah.
betcha.
Do you remember the Sarah Snook film that we covered? Probably 12 years hence. Maybe
I didn't
maybe a
know
little
I'd
less.
ever seen her in anything. What's she in?
It is, to my mind, one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
It's a little movie called Jezebel.
Oh, I didn't see that
Oh.
one. I was out that week.
You
I
were-
think.
I don't even remember that.
Hold on. I'll tell you which episode number it was.
I legit feel
Jezebel.
like I was not on that episode, or I did.
You
or
were
I,
on. This was Eric, Casey, Mark, John, and Joe. This was a Mark episode, Jezebel.
I think I hosted it.
310, episode 310.
I think I hosted it, but didn't watch that movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was when you weren't watching the movies, but you'd still.
Okay, Casey.
I remember that era.
It was occasional. I'm just saying, it was not every week.
It was
Uh,
15 years ago, bud. I'm just bullshit.
It lives
fine,
in my
I'm
head
over
as
it.
one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, it's
Yikes.
truly.
I remember Mark being really
She's
pissed
come
off about
far.
that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my memory of it. Wow, that's wild. Is she Jezebel?
Yeah. She's like.
Oh wow.
She's the
Yeah,
main
she's
character.
amazing. On Succession.
Yeah, no. She's there. Yeah. She's
Yeah, I remember.
Honestly,
that.
John, me starting a series right after it ends is actually like pretty accelerated for my normal timeline. So I'm pretty proud of myself, if I'm being honest. Dude, that scene at the end of that episode at the end of season 1 with the car accident,
Yeah.
that's like one of the most harrowing things I've ever seen. His like walk back to the brutal. All right. Casey, you want to do Twitter and then you want me to do threads? How do you want to do this?
That's fine if you want to. I'm perfectly happy. We only have one tweet this week.
Okay. That's because it's a dying platform.
Oh, no, we got another one in, so we have two. Our first one's from Matt Well Horror, over the folks over at Well Adjusted Horror. How many times has Eric watched the Godzilla -1 trailer?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've never heard
that's-
of that.
That trailer dropped, I want to say Monday, and it is the new Godzilla movie coming out of Japan.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
cool.
I've never seen a Japanese Godzilla movie.
Oh,
What?
Shin,
You've
I've
never seen the
Shin
early
Godzilla
one?
is really
You're
good.
missing out.
I'll be honest.
Wow, that's crazy.
Those movies are of an era that I don't watch almost anything from. So I think we've talked about this
Oh.
before. How it's just not
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the 50s.
my, like late 60s is about my cutoff of what I can take.
I'm just surprised because they used to play them on TV so frequently. It was like hard to miss them. you
Yeah, I would have been like hard pass if I saw it.
know? Fair enough.
Godzilla really doesn't do much for me either, if I'm being honest. Like this modern series, I think was flashy enough that the modern American one that I'm like,
Mhm.
all right. Like I got pretty into those movies, but that was about it.
I watched Shin Godzilla, which was excellent. This doesn't look like
good one.
it's. This is like a prequel to that.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
that-
think it's. I don't fully know yet myself.
says-
But we need Joe Ferry.
Will instead be set before the events of those installments, meaning Shin Godzilla or the animated films.
I do like Mothra.
I'll watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Mothra's pretty cool.
All right, we got one
go ahead.
more out here from Matt Schnecky91. Which horror world do you think you can survive the longest in? Halloween, Elm Street, Friday the 13th, or Texas Chainsaw?
I mean,
don't
with
know how to
all of
answer
them,
this
don't you
question.
just yet not need to be in the like one place where the where the like
Yeah.
killer
Yeah,
is?
I don't go on
Don't be in
vacation.
Haddonfield.
I don't go on vacation, so I'm definitely surviving Friday the 13th because I'm not going.
Yeah. Well, and same with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like Leatherface.
Right.
You know where he is? He's in Texas. Like just
At a
fucking-
specific,
Just stay away
at a
from the whole
specific
state.
house. Just don't go to his house.
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
I feel like Elm Street's the worst because you just don't know
Yeah.
where he's gonna be.
But I'm an insomniac, so I might have a leg up on that one.
Oof.
Nice.
I mean,
brutal.
if we're together, I'm gonna die first because Eric's gonna hide behind me.
That's true. It's true.
That's a pretty good strategy.
That's it for Twitter, Eric.
Cool. We did have one email, Caitlin Kissimmee. It's so effing hot in Florida. It feels like 115. And I'm watching The Lodge and wondering why y'all never did a show on it besides it just being under the radar, question mark?
It's so good.
So
What
I
year
feel
was
like
that?
we got it was like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I think
It's the
2021.
person who did Goodnight Mommy, right?
Yeah, it's the same team.
For some reason, I feel like that was one that released at a
and-
weird time of year, and we just didn't get to it.
It came out at the end of the year. I feel like we got feedback that it was super depressing, and Eric was like, "I'm not
It
watching
is.
this."
That tracks. Yeah, I'll take the
So,
fall for that, John. It was me.
I mean, I do want to watch it. Goodnight Mommy is excellent, and I know they made a remake, which I assume is not good. But
It's terrible. It's so bad. It's like a soulless version of the
I
original.
mean, that's anytime you do the like remake, English language remake
Yeah.
of like a good foreign film, it's usually rough, but okay.
All right, guys. I am excited for the first time on Bloody Good Horror to read some threads.
Threading it up.
I actually, nice work, everybody. A lot of people wrote in. Proud of you. How are there no hashtags in this fucking app? If you were gonna launch with one thing, how could you not do hashtags?
There's really not hashtags?
There
'Cause
is-
mine-
There
like-
isn't yet.
Dude, they released this thing completely unfinished because they wanted to get it out right after Twitter made all the
It's probably smart.
tweet viewing limits. Yeah, it was brilliant,
Well,
but
the fact
it's not
that it
finished.
hasn't crashed a bunch of times when they've had
It's very
100
smooth.
million people join is kind of
It's very
crazy.
smooth, like popping in and out of threads, very smooth. And I'll tell you what it never does that Twitter. So Twitter does this thing where you'll be reading a tweet and suddenly it'll just re-update your timeline and that tweet disappears.
Yeah.
It used to do this. They fixed it. Musk took over and like 3 weeks later it started happening again. And I was just like, are you effing kidding me? Just the worst. God damn it. I fucking hate him. All right. How big of a miss is it they didn't go with Insidious 5? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or Insid 5S also could work. This is a good one. What's the best fifth movie in a series? Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Child. Thinking Scream 5 is up there, but curious for your picks. Okay. I have a theory on this.
Dream
I
Child's pretty
love A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. I think
bad.
it is
Really? I think it's
highly-
the weakest one.
I think it's highly underrated. The thing that I think throws people is it is the most quippy Freddy in a way that's annoying. But there is like a great human story at the core of that movie being told with, it's just great. It's one of the few slashers where it's like a continuation of characters fully
Right,
from the one
4.
before,
Yeah. That's
which makes it
true.
really interesting. It's great. I love it.
I just think tonally it's like more of a bummer than some of the other
That would track with me
movies.
as a human being. I like it.
That's when he says great human story, he means it's a
That's
huge
my
bummer.
lane.
It's like-
Is
Uh-huh.
bummer. Yeah.
I don't have a strong opinion about this. Scream 5.
I love Friday the 13th
Okay.
Part 5, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a good film, John.
New Beginning. Is that the one
With
I don't
fake
know.
Jason.
I'd have to go.
Oh,
like
okay.
I've seen
It's been a long
but
time since
it's-
I've seen them in
yeah,
order.
it's-
I mix them up a lot.
It was post the final chapter, which was supposed to be the final chapter, but final
Hence
chapter
the
made so
name.
much money. They were like, New Beginning.
Yeah.
And they had somebody basically be an imposter Jason. And
And then the real
people
Jason comes
were
back and
really
kills him.
pissed about it. Yeah.
But the
Was
real
it-
Jason
No,
comes back at
Jason,
the
there
end.
is no live Jason in Part 5. Period.
Is that the ambulance driver? Or is that
Yes.
3?
Yes. So then
Oh, okay.
they
I
brought the
remember.
series back the next year, and they basically literally Frankenstein Jason, and he's electrocuted and he comes back to life as a zombie. That's the best one, Part 6.
Yeah.
Well, if
Part
those
5.
are our only options, I actually think I might agree with Eric because I did not care for Scream 5.
Yeah,
What
I don't
about-
like Scream 5 either.
Hold on. What
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Halloween 5, Eric? Aren't you big?
Oh,
Oh,
was that on
Halloween-
the list?
I have an
Well,
enormous
any
amount
fifth
of
was the.
Oh,
was-
okay.
I have an enormous amount of nostalgia for Halloween 5 that blinds me. It is a hot mess of a movie, but there's some interesting stuff in it.
Mhm.
What if I just said Saw 5 and we leave it at that?
God.
That's the second Costas Mandalore one, I believe. Ay.
Man, Saw. Okay. Calinat. I didn't know there was an Insidious 4 until right this moment.
Fair.
Well, the one that we all forgot was Insidious 3. Like we
Yeah.
all remembered the Lost Key. It was the chapter 3 that
Yeah,
escaped
because the
us.
chapter 3 is another prequel too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like that. That's
Whole
like the
different
real
characters.
prequel, and then
Yeah.
4 is sort of
The
like
one
a
the one
to
sequel
3, I
aside,
think.
so I remember the Lin Shaye focused one, and I remember a sequel that was very focused on Patrick Wilson and I keep blanking on her name. What is her goddamn name?
Rose Byrne.
Rose Byrne.
Yes, and Rose Byrne. There's one that's very focused on the two of them, where like one of them is stuck in the further trying to communicate with the other one. I want to
that's the
say that's
second one.
2,
That's
but I
2.
really
Yeah, it would have to be 2.
so I don't know 3. Maybe my mind was erased by like a
No, that was the
medium.
Lin Shaye focus. Like it is a Lin Shaye
No,
focused one.
part 4 was the Lin Shaye one.
No, part
she's
3
the
is
focus of
also
both.
Yeah.
Part 3 is a prequel
is
about
part-
her story.
It was
Okay.
about their TV show and stuff, right?
Part
Yeah.
part 3 is the one where she's like WWE beating up ghosts in the further.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She literally gives a ghost like a backdrop in that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah.
Man, what a series.
Which one was the Lee Winnell with the teenage girl? That was the 4th one.
I don't
think
know,
so.
dude.
I think that's the 4th one.
This is from Films at First Sight, our good friend Joe Ferry, who's been in the show.
Mhm.
What actor has an actual demon lurking behind them, and why is it Eric Roberts? That's like, you want to talk about
Dude, Eric
bummer dark
Roberts
things? That you might be right.
is Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pro Eric Roberts.
NS Murick says, think we'll see Insidious? That's pretty good. I like that.
It's happening. There is an Insidious offshoot coming. Yes.
Last thread tonight from Book of Dad. If they made a series of BGH scented candles, what would your scented candle smell like?
Yeah, guys.
Probably
what
this
does it smell like?
soaked white T-shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Ooh.
But like with my deodorant,
Or-
kind of like mixed
Yeah.
in there.
What's your favorite scent, John? I guess let's ask that. Not what you smell like.
Oh,
I know what you smell like. I've hugged you before.
I think that's weird that you think I have a favorite scent, but I don't know.
You don't have a thing you,
don't
like
have a-
smelling, John? Or are you
No.
dead inside?
maybe I don't know. It's of the senses, it's probably my lowest on the rankings.
Interesting.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I like.
What are you talking
smell
about?
like-
You don't like smelling things? You
No,
know how
like, I
insane
like
you sound right
smelling
now?
them. but like I don't like. I don't know that I've ever said like, "Oh, that's my favorite smell."
Oh my god!
I mean, he's
All
a
right,
New York
Ariel,
City Republican. He keeps his nose up.
Ariel, as a normal human being, what would you say your favorite smell is? What would your candle be?
Probably something warm and vanilla like.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the scent of freshly cut grass. That is probably
That's a good one.
That's
I
probably
was
my
gonna make
deepest.
a joke about freshly.
That's
cut
probably my
grass, like-
deepest like sense memory when I smell grass. But an interesting thing, John, is that it's got to be specifically grass from here where I grew up, because I have noticed that grass smells different everywhere.
There's different breeds of
depending on
grass.
the kind of
Yeah.
grass.
Here's a smell for you. I'm going to offer you a smell. My parents, as we've discussed, ran a bakery for many years.
There you
And
go.
the bakery,
There you
when you
go.
went into the bakery, it had a very
Yeah.
specific smell. And
Convincing
that's-
imitation of a human, John. I like it.
The
how easy that was, John.
That's a good one.
but
John's like, yes,
it's
I
just
like the smell of baking goods.
No, it's like,
They are so
is it my
delicious.
favorite smell? I don't know.
Yum,
like,
yum.
fucking, it's a smell. It smells like things. It's nice. Fine.
Delicious calories. For
Whatever. Casey,
sustenance.
what's Casey's smell? Just,
Oh, I mean, if it was based on me, probably weed. But if it
I
was,
Well,
I was
hemp
about to
action.
make a
Sounds
bong
accurate.
resin joke, but you beat me to it. So.
but no, I'd probably have something like campfire nature, like woodsy. I'm not a
Yeah.
woodsy guy, but I do come from the country in Indiana, so it's better than corn.
Woods always smell good, especially after it rains. That's one of my
Oh
favorites.
yeah.
Or when it's on fire. No.
No. We get that a lot over here, so
Yeah,
no.
We're
I
getting
do
a
love
lot
the
of
smell.
Canadian.
I do love the smell of fires.
fires.
Well, I told you that's what messed me up. Like, I love the smell of fire. There's somebody in my neighborhood that I think is a wood stove because I smell fire all the time.
Mhm.
And I was like outside working out that day. I'm like, man, I love this fire smell. This is great. I'm like, it
Yeah.
seems real intense though.
Yeah, my
You're
neighbor
like,
two
I'm
doors.
not breathing super well. And yeah.
That's a good one though. The wood smoke, like with like a fireplace, because my neighbor
Mhm.
like 2 doors down has one, and I take the dog out in the winter, and it's like, oh yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm just responding to people on threads, John. I'm enjoying this.
You're threading.
Threatening.
You're threading. You got to say.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's an
Okay.
eyebrow thing.
Should we just sit here
Yes.
quietly while you do that, or like
cool.
which?
We are now moving to Instagram.
I think we got to consolidate. We're gonna have to make some decisions
No.
here. We can't be taking questions on all these platforms.
It's
That
only
was
been
so
an hour,
quick.
John. Relax.
Well, all right.
Is from the producer of the Black Phone a selling point? This poster sucks.
No, I'm not for me. Not for me personally.
No, not for me at all. It's an anti-selling point.
Oh, I forgot how much you guys hated that movie.
Oh, which series is duller? This is from Grim Bodicki. Which series is duller, this or The Conjuring? I think this.
Duller?
This is
Whatever.
duller, yeah. The Conjuring
This is
Yeah.
duller,
is
but
better.
The Conjuring makes me more upset because of the Warrens bullshit.
Yeah, the one.
And
Exactly.
especially the last movie too was so
The
terrible.
last
and
movie they
boring.
were going for such a like weirdly like wholesome.
romantic.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so
Bizarre.
bizarre.
Strange.
So bizarre.
I revisited the original Conjuring not that long ago. It's
good.
It's really good.
It
It's
is.
very
It's
good.
really
Yeah.
good.
I like the
It's just great.
second. Wasn't the second one where they go to the UK?
Yep.
Like
That's-
London.
yeah.
That one's
Mhm.
decent
That one's
too.
good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question. This dude Zeem's really trying to work me up. Is it time we realize Halloween Ends is actually awesome? I don't know what to do for you, friend. If that's, if
No.
that's what you're hitting me up with.
You're on drugs. Sorry. Like,
DM me.
yeah.
No, do not.
I'm so
I
glad you
refuse
guys
to
all
let you
said that
talk.
because like being on Twitter after that movie came out, I felt like I was crazy because everybody liked that movie.
It's
It
one of
was
the worst
wild.
goddamn things I've ever seen
It was
in my life.
wild.
It's so bad.
Ariel, there's a really simple solution where you just don't go on Twitter. It's like
I know,
that's-
but I'm supposed to be doing the social media stuff for the zombie girls.
Could
so-
I interest you in another platform that does the same thing? but with a different-
She's already over there.
Yeah, we are.
Do you think that Sinister / Insidious crossover will ever happen? What I really want is like a
That'd be cool.
split screen with Patrick Wilson playing two different characters talking to himself.
Is
Like,
he
it'll
in
be
Sin-
like
he's
when
not in Sinister,
it'll
though,
be-
is he?
No, that's
It'll-
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Oh, Sinister, right.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
it'll be like when Fassbender makes out with himself in Alien Covenant.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You know,
AKA
over the
hot.
we've used the term Wandaverse over the years to describe all these movies. Insidious and Conjuring are not in the same world, right?
No.
I mean, John, could you imagine the dad energy if Wilson
And Ed
and
Warren, I mean,
what's his face and his dad's sweater and his gin
Yeah.
or whatever, you know?
it's even more aggressive. The problem is the timeline. Like the Conjuring movies take place like way.
Here's
before
my,
this.
Yes,
legit
that's true.
answer is that at this point in the like life cycle of these supernatural series, we are just getting so cannibalistic. Like that's what I want. They did that. Filmmakers, the people in Japan. This happened with the Grudge and the Ring series in Japan.
That's
like, there's
true. Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
a versus movie that's like Sadako versus whatever the
Oh, yeah,
Grudge
yeah,
lady
yeah, yeah.
was named.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but that sounds cool.
She's not called Grudge Lady.
Grudge lady. I don't know her name.
No, I remember that. That was just a couple years ago, wasn't it? That was like a
Yeah,
year
I think
I
so.
think it
Yeah.
was like 10 years ago, John, if I'm being honest, but
No, I
should
can't
look it
I
up.
thought
Somebody-
I was thinking like 5 or 6.
somebody Google it. But whenever
Like, I
I
was
think to
thinking
myself, that
3,
was
so
probably
that's not
5 or
good.
6 years ago.
Oh,
like,
it was 2016.
Oh,
Kayako,
shit.
that's her name.
told you. Anytime I think
Wow.
something was 5 years ago, it was automatically 10 because I have such a terrible concept of time. Chris wants to know, is Darth Maul in this one? Yes, he is,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, but he's
Lamely.
older / like looks.
That he looked exactly the same to me, honestly.
Oh, I thought he was like he was like fraying on the edges a little bit.
Maybe, I don't know.
The
Is this
equivalent of gray hairs in the
It's
feather.
all that paint.
This is from how good are you with Latin, John?
Not great.
This is from a person named Diem Noctum Carpe. This is like
pretty
long
good.
live the night,
Seize the night.
Sure. Yeah.
seize the night. Is this franchise going to go on as long as Fast and the Furious? I sure hope not.
Yeah. No.
Maybe they'll
That's
bring James
too
Wan back.
long.
I always get torn as like a fan of absurdity. Like I want it to keep going. Like I want to see Saw 17. Not that I want to, but like I want.
Well, you're gonna get to see Saw 10 not too long from now.
It's true.
So
If they actually show us more of what's going on inside the further, I'm down for 10 movies. Go for
Yeah,
it. Just give me
they-
more further.
Hire a
It's
different
just a bunch
writer.
of darkness, really.
Related
Ah.
question from Industrial Fallout: should this movie be called Darth Maul Goes to College? I like
There
it.
you go.
You could on the
Solid.
poster. He could be coming out of a toilet like the Ghoulies go to college. What other franchises have had such a good first film and such a drop off for the rest? That's from Brian.
Oh, that's a good
Alien and
question.
Aliens.
What?
Or
No, they're all great. Stop it. You stop.
What are you talking about, Casey?
like
Aliens
Alien
is
and Alien.
amazing.
No, Alien
You're
and
saying-
Aliens are great, and then it falls off.
Oh, okay. Yes.
No,
Oh,
the third
I
is
dude,
co-sign
there's
that.
so much
The third
worse.
one is fun, but
Yeah.
Covenant is terrible.
My answer to this is
Isn't Requiem the fourth? What's the?
Yeah, no, Covenant is the last one they made.
It's Alien
I'm sorry,
Covenant,
but
no.
that
You're talking about
that-
AVP, John.
the one
Those
with
are
Winona
also
Ryder
fun,
was
I
not
hope
that great.
so.
Okay, but I have a much better answer, and it's 1990s Candyman. Because they went straight out of the gate, just straight
That's
to video
true.
trash with the sequels to that movie.
That's fair.
Literally, like Donna D'Errico's in one of them.
And I would say, with my own same reasoning, the Predator movies too.
Predator 2 is sick.
2 is sweet.
Predator
Yeah.
1 and 2 are good. Then it
And
starts to fall off, and then
Yeah.
we get Prey in there. But then there's some others that are stinkers.
I heard Prey got
question,
nominated
Casey,
for an Emmy.
The question,
Yeah, it
Casey,
did.
was one movie, then the fall off. You keep naming things that have two sweet movies.
John does have a point.
No, but yeah.
But the answer stars is 2.
yeah.
One more question. Why is that? So on the poster, the S and the I in Insidious are red for some reason. and they want to
I
know-
did notice this myself.
They want to know why.
Yeah.
Get,
I
Haven't
did
they-
notice that.
Haven't they always been mixed up, or am I just thinking or making that up?
Let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at the poster for Insidious 1, and the S and the I are also red in that.
I always thought it looked like Further Fellas or Darth Maul's makeup a little bit, so I just kind of go with that.
It's the same in all of them. It's SI.
it's just a
'cause
design
chapter
choice?
2, yeah, they must have. They're just pulling it from the past ones. I did notice that for this one, and I was like, is that a thing? And then it apparently was a thing for all those previous movies. So yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, man. That's all the social media platforms I'm on. I don't know about you guys.
Do you want me? Should I check LinkedIn and just see if anyone hit me up there, or like?
I should point out, John, for your impatience here, it's only been like an hour and 10 minutes, like barely.
Sure, I know.
You're all
but
right.
we
You're not
can,
gonna melt.
You know, we can keep this tight. You can keep it at tight.
Here's what I'll say: we got more engagement on Threads than we've gotten in years on Twitter. So, like, I'm feeling
Excellent.
I'm feeling pro Threads at the moment.
Thanks.
Thanks, Threaders.
Yeah.
Thread,
Is that what they're
Thread
called?
Team.
Threadlets.
Thread crew.
the red
What do you
line.
call it when you send a thread? Are you like I threaded?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Like
to
instead of
figure
I
out.
tweeted, I threaded.
Maybe
gonna
it'll
thr-
just be posted.
Hey,
like
you should
Instagram.
thread that. I'm just testing it out.
I
like,
threaded
what it
so much today.
sounds. Hey, send me that sick thread, dude. Does that work?
You guys are starting to sound like surfers, like you're saying Reddit or something.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing next week? Oh, actually, wait. Before we do that, Ariel, where can people find you?
Oh, yeah, sure. So you can find me at zombiegirls.com. That's GRRLZ. And we're at ZG Podcasts everywhere. So, and you can find us on Threads now. And More Deadly just came out with a new episode. So you can catch us there. It's all women-directed horror movies that Rachel and I do.
Love it. Seen anything good lately along those lines?
Have I seen anything good? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like what's-
We just did a Jagged Mind. It's on Hulu. That one's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. All right. Well, we are not sure what we're doing next week. We've been debating a little bit here. Maybe a staff pick. We shall see. And then what's the next theatrical, John? You were mentioning it earlier.
No, well, Casey, you pulled. I have it. up
Haunted
on-
Mansion is our next theatrical in 2
There you
weeks.
go.
I'm pretty.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty into that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also. Are we getting Talk to Me? Because, like, look, I know everyone's excited about Haunted Mansion, but this Talk to Me movie is supposed to be like.
Yeah, I saw
One of the
posters
better
for it.
ones.
Is it the same weekend?
It was originally, unless one of them got moved, but it's now.
All right. We'll
I-
take a look at it. I don't recall what this is. So
We'll do them both. We're gonna get to both, but we
have you
actually
seen
a
the full
bunch-
trailer for the Haunted Mansion, John?
No, I haven't watched it.
It's really good.
We actually have a bunch of stuff. Meg 2 is the 11th, and then I got the trailer for Voyage of the Demeter. Here's my thing. I'm excited about this movie. They show the whole fucking movie in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
that's always a
showed
bummer.
Dracula so many times in the trailer. It's like, guys, just can you leave a little bit on the bone? Maybe there's like something crazier that happens, but like they literally show you the full fucking Dracula as a bat. Like it's just, I don't know.
That's so annoying.
It's really dumb. I just don't get it. Well, to me, it's a sign that the movie's not very good, and so they have to like.
Or
Yeah.
it's a sign that the marketing department doesn't like that the word Dracula isn't in it, and so they're trying to make sure your ass knows this is like a Dracula movie. Yo.
I guess that's
like
true.
John.
That's
Normies
fair.
walking
You're
around
right,
don't know
you're
what the
right.
fucking Demeter is.
No,
so.
you. But like the trailer is really really good, all the way up until the point where they show you Dracula, and then
it
it's
just
like,
needs to
okay,
stop.
stop showing me the movie. I now want to see this. Like it's just
sure.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
So-
I don't understand why they do that. It's like when It Part 2 came out and the trailer was that like entire scene where the redheaded girl was in that woman's apartment getting
Yeah.
scared. They showed like 5-minute long scene just as
Yeah.
the trailer.
I never saw it chapter 2 because I saw that scene and I was like, fuck this. Like I don't.
It's real good, John.
Yeah.
It's real good. All right, that's gonna do it. I'm too tired to plug anything, John. BloodyGoodHorror.com. That's where I would go to find stuff. Join us on Slack. We're hanging out on Slack with all our peoples.
Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
There you go.
And if you haven't followed us yet on Threads, it's Bloody Good Horror.
Yes, it is. Bloody, the full name. Type it out. We're there. All right, y'all. Hope you enjoy the show. And we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.